PIF is a big engine, and it has played a key role in the transformation we've seen at the financial economic front. Investments is the key question here. And my question to you, what's the missing puzzle to see more foreign direct investment come into Saudi Arabia? The numbers are good, but they could be better. So what's missing in your view?
Yeah, first of all, I think it will be going up. I mean, there's a focus on it. You're building data centers now. And
the incentives
but
are
I think one of the huge things that's going to help drive it is peace in the Middle East. I mean, and I give Saudi Arabia a lot of the credit for that, maybe the sole credit, the breakthrough of that peace in the Middle East will give people much more comfort to invest in it, in Saudi Arabia, but the GCC writ large. And I think that's the door that opens up. If you have the whole region can continue to grow aggressively and develop new industries like technology, and I think that might be the key.
So you do expect it to go up going forward?
I think it'll go up either way, but if you have real peace in the region, which I'm hoping, I know it's hard, but I think that would make a big difference.
Let's talk about the hot topic today, and it's the US-China deal. There was a huge advancement in the talks between the Chinese and the Americans on the Asian summit before the Trump-Xi summit and meeting. Do you expect a deal? And do you think that deal can actually materialize and not go back again?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We've gotten used to a little volatility in this.
And you played a key role in persuading Trump to talk to the Chinese.
I'm not sure that's true. No, I think we should talk to them. I think there are things which are unilateral, things that America needs to do for its own national security, like rare earths, fentanyl, which I don't think we should trade off with them. But like every nation has the right to look at what gives them national security, and it's different for every country. I think on other matters, yeah, we should make sure trade is fair. It's not always, but that's obviously a legitimate thing to talk about with China. And I hope they do engage and come up with an understanding that's meaningful. I think it'll just be a step. I don't think it'll be the end of the deals. And I think and the Chinese are quite methodical, so I expect them to be quite methodical. And we want to get everything done overnight. They could take 20 years.
So it's a step further towards a deal at some point, and not a step further and a step back?
I hope so.
You hope so.
The chance of it being two forward and one back is pretty high, both because of American policy or Chinese policy. I think there is a complication here, which is war. The little bit they do, not a little bit, what they do to help Russia, puts us in different sides in this one, and that should be very important to America. And to the people negotiating this trade deal.
I would like to pick your brain on tariffs. If tariffs are eased, how do you see that affecting U.S. companies that rely on Chinese supply chains? Could this trigger a real shift?
I think companies, people are adjusting to tariffs. Originally they started very high, and I think people are surprised, but they've mostly come down. I think it's good that the president and his staff have responded to things that changed, and they backed off it and they modified. So I think they're quite sensitive to what it does. But companies were changing their supply chains anyway, and tariffs will kind of accelerate that. I do hope, and they know that I hope that they finish and settle the trade deals. Whatever they are, it's better for companies to invest and be thoughtful about it than if they're constantly changing. So, but I think most companies seem to have adjusted pretty much. There are some who are going to have a tough time, and I think the government's aware of that. Like the farmers, they understand that the farmers may need a little help, support, because some of these tariffs have hurt them more than maybe was expected.
Who's the winner of this deal, do you think? China, the U.S.?
Well, I hope it's both. I mean, I don't think you go into a deal and always say you have to win. Sometimes it's a win-win. Like, what do you need? What do I need? What's fair? What's unfair? Acknowledge differences and.
Let's move to the global economy. You've had a statement a few days ago, and you said warning of cockroaches. If we see one cockroach, more cockroaches will follow. And that applies to what's happening in the global economy. You've warned for years about economic headwinds. Are we already in the storm? Are we not yet there? Are we still waiting for it? Where are we?
Yeah, I wish I hadn't said the cockroach thing. It got far more attention than it deserved. So here's what it was. And we'll go to the United States for now.
Yes.
And I'm going to put geopolitics aside. That is the most important thing for the future of the world, that we keep the world safe and free and bar nothing. And it dwarfs. Whether you have a recession, I consider that the weather. I don't worry about that. Whether we have a recession, we're going to continue to invest exactly the same way in Saudi Arabia, just like we continue to invest exactly the same way with their clients, around the world. So when you had the United States, you had you've had very good growth for a while. We've been in the soft landing. Markets seem to expect a soft landing, which partially explains why asset prices are quite high. And you have, I think you do have some tailwinds, which is, a very pro-business president, which is good, a pro-deregulation president. I think regulations just in America and elsewhere have been really damaging the ability to grow and innovate. And those things are free. Good policy, deregulation is free. They want to unleash the banks. I think the banks can do more to help countries in general. And then you do have some of these other headwinds, like we don't really know the outcome of inflation yet. The restructuring of trade will be a little inflationary. The world is remilitarizing. So there are, and the deficits are too high. Now, I don't know what that's going to do or when it's going to do it, but one day, the market will balk at buying more and more, not just our side, we're the worst, but
private credits, are you worried about that?
I'm not really. I never blame private credit for the cockroaches. What I was talking about is there was fraud, but put fraud aside, there is issues in subprime auto in the United States. There are some issues, weakening of consumer. Labor demand is a little bit less. There have been some real credit losses in wholesale, not huge, but maybe a little worse than you might have expected when you have such low unemployment. So yeah, my antenna up that we should be looking for things out there that may surprise you. It's not private credit. The private credit people say it's the bank, though they're right. But I expect that we have a recession, and we will. I don't know when. That credit loss will be a little bit worse than people expect in a recession.
Where do you see oil prices, gold prices going further?
Oh God, that's almost impossible for an answer. I mean, the world is expert.
You've had it wrong on the gold, though.
Well, I've never been a gold investor.
Yeah,
actually,
exactly.
But I said recently, now's the time to buy gold. Gold it's not replicatable. So there's only I forgot how much, there's 10 trillion in the world or 11 trillion. And it costs, you have to pay 4% or more to carry it. But I understand why people use it to diversify. I don't feel like I need to do that.
Exactly.
You see some central banks doing it. You see some investors doing it. It easily could go up. It could easily go down. I have no idea. Oil is a little more complicated because there's short-term supply and demand. There's long-term supply and demand. If you ask me, when I look at the studies, I'm going to talk about just the longer term, oil will be in short supply. The world is going to need more safe, affordable, secure energy supplies, which includes oil, gas, renewables, which you're going to be a leader in. And that may, over time, push these prices up, not down.